Head 23, Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs. Head 23, Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs. A supplementation of $89,492,221 is being suggested. I will now invite the Attorney General and Minister in the Ministry of Legal Affairs to make a brief opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the opportunity to address this committee on behalf of the Office of the Attorney General as we consider the supplementary appropriation for fiscal year 2025. The Office of the Attorney General holds a central and constitutionally enshrined role within the governance framework of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Pursuant to Section 76(2) of the Constitution, the Attorney General is appointed as the principal legal advisor to the government and bears a distinct responsibility for instituting and defending civil proceedings on behalf of the state. Yet, this role is not confined to litigation alone. It is integral to ensuring the legality of government's action, the soundness of legislative development, and the safeguarding of public interests at both the domestic, regional, and international levels. The Ministry therefore operates at a crossroads of law, governance, and public accountability, ensuring that executive decisions align with the Constitution, that laws are just and effective, and that the state is adequately represented in an increasingly dynamic legal environment. The core mandate of the Ministry encompasses delivering firm legal advice to ministries, departments, and state agencies, representing the state in a full spectrum of civil litigation, constitutional challenges, judicial reviews, and premium commercial matters, drafting legislation that is clear, functional, and constitutionally sound, coordinating extradition, mutual assistance, and international legal cooperation, ensuring Trinidad and Tobago's compliance with human rights treaties, anti-terrorism obligations, and international legal norms. To effectively discharge these responsibilities, the Ministry is supported by several specialized divisions and strategic units. The Department of Civil Law, a unified legal entity that incorporates the functions of the former Solicitor General and Chief State Solicitor divisions. The Legislative Drafting Department, charged with transforming policy into precise legal text, ensuring that legislation stands up to judicial scrutiny and serves the public interests. The International Law and Human Rights Unit, which advises on treaty obligations, defends the states in international forums, and monitors compliance with human rights conventions. The Central Authority Unit, which facilitates international cooperation on criminal matters, particularly extradition and mutually legal assistance, ensuring the state upholds its obligations under various treaties. The Law Reform Commission, the Office of the DPP, Director of Public Prosecutions, which is responsible for initiating and conducting criminal prosecution on behalf of the state independently and without political interference. The International Office of Child Rights, and the Anti-Terrorism Unit, which ensures compliance with the Anti-Terrorism Act and international obligations arising from United Nations security resolutions. Mr. Chairman, the Attorney General's remit also includes oversight of several independent bodies and statutory institutions that play a vital role in the administration of justice, equality, and legal education. These include Central Authority, Civil Child Abduction Authority, Council of Legal Education, Hugh Wooden Law School, Environmental Commission, Equal Opportunity Commission, Equal Opportunity Tribunal, Industrial Court, Law Reform Commission, Tax Appeal Board. Each of these bodies contribute to the broader legal and constitutional landscape, ensuring accessibility, fairness, and equity before the law. Their work requires stable and adequate support through allocations now under consideration. Mr. Chairman, the legal responsibilities of the state have expanded markedly in recent years. The rise of complex constitutional challenges, increasing cross-border obligations, and the rapid evolution of digital governance, environmental regulation, and financial accountability mechanisms demand the ministry be both agile and fully resourced. And the Honorable Attorney General has advised me that there are now increased demands on the criminal justice system on the issue of white-collar crimes. He told me he is particularly swamped in this area at this point in time. The amount for supplementation is in the sum of $89,492,221. And I will just point out, as the Honorable Attorney General stated some time ago when he assumed office, that there was not enough money in the vote, Mr. Chairman, to even buy a doubles when he assumed office. The entire vote was cleared out. There was no money remaining to pay legal fees. The quantum of legal fees at the time of presentation for this supplementation was relatively high. But I was surprised this morning when presented by further information from our public authorities within the ministry that the figure had climbed considerably. As we have now been each day we are receiving bills at the Ministry of the Attorney General from both foreign and local attorneys and consultants that, quite frankly, has us a bit concerned. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable members, the question is that the 2025 appropriation for Head 23, Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs, be supplemented by the sum of $89,492,221. Member for Ruka Lopino.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, item 001, sub-item 16, contract employment. Seeing a further supplementation in the sum of $1.3 million, the Honourable Minister, can you indicate whether those are existing contractual positions where persons are already employed?
I would ask my learned colleague, Mr. Minister of Legal Affairs, to address that question. Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Chair, this particular item relates to contract employment within the Registrar General's Department. This is in relation to compliance that we have with regards to the Global Forum regulations and so on. So additional contract officers were hired during this fiscal year during a recruitment exercise that was approved by your cabinet. And these are for additional monies to pay those persons that were hired up until the end of September 2025 for this fiscal year.
So are you saying that the contract positions will all be expired?
No. What I'm saying is that this appropriation will meet our contractual obligations until September 2025 because the former Minister of Finance did not give enough allocation towards this line item with respect to contract employment. And as you will know, with respect to Global Forum, we have been in fact on the blacklist for the last 10 years due to inaction by the last PNM administration. So we will do what we have to do in order to get Trinidad and Tobago off that Global Forum blacklist.
Mr. Chair, sub-item 22, short-term employment. How many persons are currently employed on short-term contract in the ministry?
repeat? I didn't
How
get.
many persons are employed on short-term contract? I'm looking at and referring to rather same 001, item 001, sub-item 22.
What's the answer? 323, Honorable Member.
There are 323 persons on short-term employment at this
That's
current
correct,
time?
yes.
Okay. Can the Honourable Minister indicate as of April 28th how many persons were employed on short-term contract?
323.
Can the Honourable Minister on the same item, Mr. Chair? Thank you very much. Can the Honourable Minister indicate whether or not persons on short-term contract were terminated over the last 6 weeks or so?
What's the answer?
There was some terminated, but there was some had certificate and so there would have been the ones who terminated.
There have been some that have been terminated, I understand.
Understood. Can you say how many?
Approximately 11.
11 persons? Can you
Yes.
say which department?
Subject to approximately, give or take.
Understood. Can you say which department that they've been employed in prior to their termination?
Law Reform Commission, AG Secretariat, and Minister's Secretariat. Pardon me?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Law Revision Commission, sorry.
No, I hear you.
Also.
Thank you very much.
Member for Laventille West.
David Griffith, please, Mr. Chairman, to the Honourable Minister, in relation to line items 02000123 and 02000923 in relation to fees. Can the understand that the Honourable Minister indicated that the original allocated provisions of the 84.2 million has been exhausted, and that the increase being asked for today is 54 million. Could the Honourable Minister indicate, one, whether what percentage of previous fees are outstanding and expected to be paid from this increase, and which, of course, the remainder going to the new fees, please?
One moment, please, Minister. Member. Your question was what portion of the 84,250 has been paid?
No, please, Minister. My question is, because you have answered that vote has been exhausted.
That's
so I'm
correct.
asking of the increased amount of the 54, asking for the 54.
Right.
Which portion of that increase of 54 million is going to go to past fees, and which percentage is going to be allocated to new fees?
That's a very difficult question to answer at that stage, but as you know, the Attorney General Department is in continuing litigation. So I suspect that I cannot give you a definite percentile of what will go towards existing bills, but there has to be a kind of balance going forward. And it will be at the discretion of the Attorney General, and depending on the urgency of the matters, importance, etc.
Thanks, Honourable Minister. Honourable Minister, can you please indicate whether, since the assumption of office of the Honourable Attorney General, how many briefs or the percentage of this 54 million, if you can at this time, can you indicate whether how many of the fees are allocated to the new briefs that would have been awarded post general election, please?
I can't answer that question at this point in time, sir.
Can it be provided in writing, please, at a later time?
It will be given due consideration, but I can't say now that I will give a written undertaking to provide a written response.
Chairman, most respectfully, Chairman, through you. I understand that the Honourable Attorney General is not here, and therefore the Minister of Justice may not be able to answer that. Might I most respectfully ask if the Minister of Justice, who has nothing really to do with this line item, but more so the Attorney General, whether the Minister of Finance might give any undertaking relative to explain that? I think that it's a very appropriate question in light of this, please.
Well, can I just say this? I somewhat tend to agree with the Minister of Justice that it will be impossible to say at this stage, quite frankly. We are now where a supplemental allocation is going to be made. I heard what the Minister has said, I've heard the question you've asked, and I'm giving you the reason why I think the Minister's answer is an eminently reasonable one.
And
I think it will be impossible to say at this stage.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, from a preliminary assessment of fees that have been paid over the 10 years, it has been perhaps one of the highest amounts paid out to local and foreign attorneys and consultants. And as I just indicated, we were presented by the permanent secretaries this morning of a new figure which was added on to what was presented to the Minister of Finance for the supplementation. So we don't know how much more is existing out in the woodworks and how much more is going to hit us. And they're asking us to predict in the future how much money is going to be spent on legal briefs and legal fees. And that is really a pure speculative question which I cannot answer.
Most respectfully, please, Honorable Chairman.
Who is this?
I am,
Yeah.
most respectfully, please, Chairman and Minister, I am not asking in relation to any futuristic aspect of it, but you arrived at a figure of an increase of $54.9 million. And you're bringing before this committee and for us to consider and approve this amount, and therefore this amount couldn't be pulled out from a hat. And therefore I'm asking a simple and reasonable question: where is the $54.9 million going to be allocated? And if I understand that the chairman believes that it is difficult, and it is somehow difficult, I'm asking for it to be provided at a later date. But there is still not even a consideration, from what I am hearing, to be provided at a later date. And that is unreasonable, please, Mr. Chairman, with all due respect.
Mr. Chairman, the close figure we have towards outstanding bills, foreign and local and consultants, has now increased to close to 100, if not 100 million. If we allocated $54 million, there has to be some that has going to be paid towards existing bills, for sure. And there are some that has to be left for, we are continually engaging in litigation. And it's just, bills are just tumbling in day by day. From them.
Mr. Chairman,
may I come in here, please?
It's extremely hypocritical for the PNM administration to ask us about legal fees. Let me start there. Mr. Chairman, we, on assuming office, were saddled with this multi-million-dollar legal fees that they have left us with, because this also includes arrears. It includes payments to Eater Food PNM lawyers who were handpicked by the last regime.
Mr. Chairman,
Who were handpicked by the last regime, eating at the trough. And when we came to this parliament, Mr. Chairman, if I may, when we came to this parliament, Mr. Chairman, and asked for the names of those attorneys, they refused to give us the names.
Mr. Chairman, we ask for your intervention.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I listened in silence. Mr. Chairman, I listened in silence. You asked the question, member for Laventille West, I'm responding. Will you allow me? This $54.9 million includes fees that were owed by your administration over the last fiscal year. If you look at the original allocation, the Attorney General, under the line item fees, would have allocated $80 million being wasted, spent. They didn't have a dollar when we went in there into office. Now we have to now ask for additional money to pay lawyers bills that you left us with.
Mr. Chairman, most respectfully, I know today is Monday, but today is not the UNC Monday Night Forum. I've asked a specific question in relation to a specific line item. most respect, I allow the member, please.
Chairman,
I allow the member, most
Mr.
respectfully,
Chairman,
please.
I asked to
excuse me,
speak.
excuse,
No, but
please,
he wants
excuse
to
me, please,
jump in.
member. Excuse me,
Can't
please,
keep
member.
jumping.
If I may,
One member at a time.
yes, please, yes, please.
Member for Diego Martin Northeast, you will have your turn.
For the member for
Deeply grateful, please, Mr. Chair. And I am asking, and I understand all of what would have transpired and what the member is saying, please, Chairman. But I'm asking, out of the 54, it's a simple, out of the 54 million, this position that some would go and some will go to the past and some will go to the future is understood. But I'm asking what percentage of that is going to the past and what percentage of it is going to new briefs. It is a simple question.
Mr. Chairman, apparently the member for Laventille West does not understand how litigation works. You cannot, in fact, get an exact figure of what legal fees will be in the future. Because how it works is that when an attorney does work, they will invoice the work, the invoice will be sent to the Office of the Attorney General, it will be checked on that, verified, and then payments are made. There will only be a projection of what it can be for the next few months until the next fiscal year. But if you want us, if you really want us to tell you the P&M lawyers who get most of these millions, including former members and maybe current members opposite, we can tell you. But at this point in time, this line item is to cover some of the bills that you left us with, and or in order to also run the ministry going until the month of September 2023. It's simple as that.
Chairman, thank you very kindly. Outside of the projection, which I'm not asking for in this question here, I'm asking right now, out of the 54 million, which percentage of that will be expended on existing invoices as approved in relation to past work?
Member, could you all stop? I've heard the question asked at least 5 times.
And answered none.
Could you not please do that? Could you please not do that? I've heard 5 different iterations of what purports to be an answer. I don't want to be even remotely deprecatory. I understand that you've recently been admitted to the bar. It would be difficult, if not impossible, for anyone to, given the context of the answer given, to allocate percentile amounts to past and future.
Mr. Speaker, what does a member being admitted to the bar have to do with anything? So is it that only lawyers could ask questions related to fees?
I'm not saying that.
But Mr. Chairman, that is highly disrespectful. It is highly disrespectful.
I'm lending context to what was
but
said.
But it is highly disrespectful.
I wish to make a point.
Most respectfully, Chairman.
I'm just simply lending context. So
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
thinking
I
that
wish to make a procedural point.
I think
Chairman
this
is
has been going on
speaking.
for long. So
The chairman is speaking.
So perhaps we could move on a bit from this.
Mr. Chairman, I have participated in at least 40 Finance Committee meetings already, 15 of which would have been under the UNC. This is the first Finance Committee meeting where I see the chairman, your good self, venturing opinions, seeking to clarify statements made. It is simply wrong. It is wrong.
All I can see is that I'm simply trying to help the process along.
Chairman, you are not supposed to get involved in the discussion.
Chairman, I appreciate your answer and your clarity in this matter.
If you are of the view of that, allow me to finish, please. I apologize sincerely. Member for Laventille West, I did not mean, and I said I meant to be as least deprecatory as possible. It was not intended to be that way. I simply was lending a context to the question because we've been spending a lot of time on a question that the 2 ministers have answered. So if we could move on, I'd be very grateful. Are there any other questions on this head? Member for Aruka Lopino.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm looking at the same sub-item 23-001, item 001, sub-item 23, and I wish to ask the Honourable Minister if he can clarify whether the fees, the $54.9 million, is going to be utilized to pay attorneys who are providing legal services in the Piarco International Airport corruption case. Mr. Chair, it seems as though...
So that I can just see if I get it correctly?
No, I can ask it again.
Sure.
Sure. So you're asking for a further supplementation of $54.9 million, approximately. Yeah. I'm asking whether this would assist in providing or paying attorneys who are involved in providing legal services in the Piarco International corruption case, Whiten case.
Mr. Honourable Member, there are many different cases that could be attached to that label. You have to be very clear there about, to the best of my knowledge, about 4 or 5 different proceedings that you can say attached to the Piarco. Which one are you referring to?
Whiten case.
The what?
Whiten case.
Whiten case. Is that a foreign firm?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't answer that question.
I can't answer.
Right now. I can't answer that question.
Can you say whether or not the fees would also be paid to attorneys who are involved in the Vincent Nelson case and the Attorney General?
I can't answer that at this point in time.
You can't answer that question?
Pardon me?
You can't answer that question?
I can't answer that question. I don't have the full listing. The full listing of attorneys, if it's going to be presented here, is a spreadsheet that comprises about 4 or 5 pages.
Different cases.
Yeah, so I really can't pinpoint with accuracy and answer you that question.
Okay. I'm just pointing to a statement that you would have made earlier on. That yes, in your opening statement.
Yeah.
That the Honourable Attorney General has indicated his commitment to fight white-collar crime.
Yes.
And this Piarco International corruption case, Whiten case, is one such case where the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is in the fight against white-collar crime.
Mr. Chair, does the Minister have a question? Does the MP have a question that relates to something
I am asking a specific question, Mr.
that
Chair,
relates to what
whether under
us?
this allocation, monies are going to be utilized to pay attorneys who are involved in this matter. It is a very... Is that a yes or no?
What I can say is that the Attorney General, the Office of the Attorney General...
As a citizen, I do.
The Office of the Attorney General has the constitutionally enshrined duty of instituting and defending cases on behalf of the state. There are a host of litigation it is currently involved in.
I'm asking a specific question.
And what I'm saying is, if it falls within that category, of course, he would pay it.
Of course. And that also includes the Vincent Nelson case and the Attorney General?
I'm sure it would.
Thank you.
I'm sure it would.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may add to, I believe under this line item, it will also deal with the recently concluded case involving Naikwan, where the former PNM administration saddled us, again, with large legal fees. It will also go towards looking at what some of the contractual arrangements and transactions that was taking place under the last administration, because the Attorney General gave his commitment to fighting white-collar crime. And some of my friends opposite may have some questions to answer.
Honourable members.
So, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Who comes first?
Is it me? Yeah, Mr. Chairman, under the same line item, I'm asking, how much of these legal fees were used to defend the government against matters brought by the UNC?
Mr. Chairman, the UNC, if my friend from San Fernando East understands court matters, The UNC does not bring cases against the government.
Sorry.
They are citizens who would have brought cases
Sorry,
against the
UNC
government.
sponsored
So my friend
citizens.
is totally out of his league with this particular
I'm not going to
matter.
Perhaps you
allow
want to
that,
know how many
Santana
PNM
Luis.
ETA
And
food
he
lawyers on that
simply-
list.
Can you all allow me
as-
to address this, please? Member for San Fernando East, it is plainly wrong to characterize someone bringing litigation as being sponsored by somebody else. As a matter of fact, it breaches a well-known principle of law of Champathy. Okay, so
Mr. Chair.
can you please
Sure.
withdraw that characterization?
I withdraw, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, but there were several matters brought against the previous government by self-proclaimed UNC activists. So I'm simply asking how many were brought against the government by UNC activists.
Mr. Chairman, I have been in this House
Thank
for
you, sir.
24 years and I have not seen this level of abuse by members of any opposition before.
I think it's an unfortunate characterization to label anyone as a litigant sponsored by anyone else.
Sir, that is how they describe themselves. They call themselves
I
UNC
think it's
activists.
a fair question to ask how many cases were brought and what was the cost to the
Yes,
state, but you can ask it in that sterile manner. But to suggest that someone was bringing litigation at the behest of someone else.
So I took that back and I'm asking a new question. How many matters were brought against the previous government by self-proclaimed UNC activists? That's what I'm asking.
That's, Mr. Chairman, I think that's another way.
Mr. Chairman.
That is, hold on. That is just another way of asking the same question, but I can help you. If you can identify those matters, if you can, I do not know who is self-proclaimed UNC activists or who brought matters. If you can identify it and supply us with those cases, I can possibly give you further information on it. But as it is, you're asking a question in a vacuum.
Sure, thank you.
Mr. Barrett.
Member for Aluka Lopino.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'll be very specific in my question. Just looking at item 009, Criminal Law Department, sub-item 23, fees, where the Honorable Minister is asking for further supplementation of $16.8 million, I assume, to pay attorneys that are involved in providing support to the DPP's department. Is that external attorneys, Minister?
Contract employees.
Fees? I'm asking specifically about fees.
Oh, which one is here?
Sorry, I got mixed with
That's
the
okay.
question.
That's okay.
If you can give it me again.
Okay, I'm asking whether sub-item 23 fees, where you're asking for a further sum of $16.8 million,
Okay, right.
if that is to be utilized to pay attorneys, external attorneys who are providing support to the DPP's department.
Yes, it is, and yes, it is.
Are you aware, Minister, if that includes cases or particular case involving EMBD corruption?
I don't think at this stage there's any criminal charge.
Investigation, I'm talking about.
Investigation is really in the province of the police authorities. And I can't.
I'm entitled to ask my question, Mr. Chair. Can you please protect me? I'm just hearing all the muttering. I'm asking.
I'm trying to ask.
No, I'm not referring to you. I'm talking to your colleagues. So this distracting.
Yeah. So with regard to the MBD, I know there's civil litigation, but there's no criminal charge by the DPP, sanctioned by the DPP. So I can't help you there in terms of whether or not that includes anything.
Do you know, Minister, if the fees is $16.8 million to pay attorneys who might be providing legal support to the DPP department involving matters with members of parliament?
I can't assist you there. I can't assist you there. I don't have that level of specificity.
Thank you very much.
Much obliged.
San Fernando East, member for San Fernando East.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the same line item, 02-001-23, can we be informed how much of this is to be spent on matters brought against the previous government by Ravi Balgobin Maraj?
Honourable Member, over the course of the last 10 years, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of cases brought against the state. The state is the biggest litigator.
Right.
I'm
asking about a specific cases brought by a specific individual.
I'm trying to answer you. Right? There are so many cases. The state is the biggest litigant in the country. And I can't tell you now. I don't have that whole list of all matters brought for and against the state.
Could you provide for us in writing, please?
I will give it consideration, but I can't say so right now. I mean, I'll give it consideration.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Only member for Couva South had his hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, in light of the answers provided by the Minister of Justice, there are many cases that are under review that is seeking the advice of the Honourable Attorney General. My colleague opposite, Aruka Lupino, is particularly concerned about white-collar issues. I want to advise my colleague opposite that one of the issues that is being reviewed by the Honourable Attorney General that may fall within the line item identified is the issue of Lezama versus Wassa, which involves the member Faruka Lopino. And the PSA has already indicated that they have referred that matter to the DPP with respect to misbehavior in public office by the member Faruka Lopino. So those are one of the matters that possibly the agency is looking at in line of this light.
Member Faruka Lopino.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, can I ask the Honourable Member for, is it Couva South, whether or not he's going on record in this committee to confirm that this case involving one Lezama in Wassa involves the Member of Parliament for Aruka Lupino.
You take it how you want it.
Chairman.
Okay.
Chairman. Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, the Honourable Member for Couva South has made a damning statement in this committee. And I am asking, Mr. Chair, I'm asking whether the Honourable Member is prepared to go on record to confirm that the Member of Parliament for Aruka Lupino is involved or named in any matter involving one Lancelot Lezama.
Mr. Chairman, I refer the member to Aruka Lupino to speak with the head of the PSA on this matter.
Mr. Chair, I ask for a ruling on this.
Okay, there being no further questions on the particular line item,
Mr. Chair,
can you ask the question?
I have questions on this line item, but I am also responding, Mr. Chair, to a statement that you, Mr. Chair, allowed on the floor of this Parliament. And before we proceed, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I want you to ask the Honourable Member whether he is prepared to go on record on this very damning statement that he just made.
First of all, can I be allowed to answer the question? First of all, I don't recall the member saying you were directly involved. I recall him, hold on, we can use the Hansard and refer to it afterwards. The member say you may know about it. But this is not the purpose of this committee gathered here. You have recourse.
But he was allowed to say it, Mr. Chair.
What I'm telling you is that you have a proportionate recourse available to you to solve, erase, and or mitigate whatever might have been said in the future.
I am so
and you
guided.
can avail yourself of that recourse.
Most certainly,
Right.
Mr. Chair.
So instead of us occupying the valuable time that is left for us here,
Mr. Chair, I have more questions on this line item.
right, please, can you proceed
I
to
was
ask the
distracted
question?
by the Honourable Member for Vancouver South. So I wish to go back to the line item and ask some
Please,
questions.
let's move on.
To the Honourable Minister, I'm referring to item 009, sub-item 23, fees for the Criminal Law Department of the Ministry of the Attorney General. Can the Honourable Minister indicate whether those fees are to be paid to attorneys who are providing legal support to the office of the DPP in matters involving one Barry Padarat?
What? No, that question can't be allowed. That's against a member of parliament.
First of all, I think I have to take a moment, right? But first of all, I'm not entirely sure whether the minister, all right.
What?
Put on your mic. Put on your mic. Put on your mic.
There's a reference to a certain member of the House in violation of 48.6. In violation of 48.6 is very clear. There's a reference to a member here in violation of 48.6. I ask for your ruling.
I'm not imputing no improper motive. It's a case. Of course. Of course.
I'm not allowing the question. Let's move on. You have another question, member? Let's go on.
Minister indicate whether or not the same line item 23, sub-item 23, fees for attorneys who providing legal services to the office of the DPP, whether those matters are involving one, Rudal Munilal and David.
Mr. Chairman, I have to intervene here. Mr. Chairman, the member for Aruka Lopino has now abused his privilege as a member of parliament in naming sitting members of parliament. There are serious repercussions with respect to the standing order on this matter in terms of privilege, and I think the member has trespassed on this particular area, Mr. Chairman, and the member is being allowed to defame sitting members of the government and the cabinet in this particular issue, Mr. Chairman. And we ask for a ruling that he must withdraw those questions.
Withdraw the questions? I'm asking questions on specific matters. I was very specific. They are specific matters.
First of all, I have ruled we are moving on. So unless there are further questions on this, I intend to put the question to the House. Honourable members, the question is that the 2025 appropriation for Head 23, Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs be supplemented by the sum of $89,492,221. Those in favour say aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Head 23, Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs has been supplemented by the sum of $89,492,221. Thank you, Attorney General and Ministers in the Ministry of Legal Affairs and your staff.